Hi, this is Stephanie Washer again. Today we are going to talk about static routes. So this is for my Cisco 2 course, and we're going to kind of go over all static routes. And I'm still using that same topology, but we can use that today. So we're going to go over standard static routes, and there's three types of those. There's next hop, directly connected, and fully specified. We're going to go over default route, floating static, and we're going to kind of briefly go over summary static routes. It doesn't really go over it in Cisco 2, but we're going to use that. And we're doing all IPv4. If you were to use IPv6, it's the same, similar method. You just use IPv6, and then you're going to use IPv6 addresses. Honestly, it's just sometimes it's a pain in the butt to type in all of the addresses, but it works out just fine. And then in the end, we'll do the show IP route to show you what it looks like. And all of this is going to be done on the router. We only have one router in the system, but we have a ton of networks. We've got all these networks. And I'm not going to put them all in. I'm just going to show you what they look like. And I'll end up taking them all out, but we'll go for it. And I'm going to just leave in the static or the default route because that is the easiest one to leave in, the default route. So we're going to make this a little skinnier so that you can actually see all the commands. It's not like me today. Oh, that's about as skinny as I'm going to be able to make it. Okay. All right. So we will fit it in here. The only one you can't see is fully specified, but we'll be fine with that. So we're on the router. And we know we have all sorts of VLANs that we have to include. And even if we did just show IP, INT brief, we would see all of our different, it's hard to view here, but we got 192.168.2.1, 3.1.1.1.5.1, and then we got the 209.165.10.1. That is the loopback is our gateway to the outside world. So we're going to be using this one a lot. And that's going to be where we're going to send all of our routes. So the routers use the routes to figure out where to send data. And it's going to do an ANDing process with the network address or the IP address and the subnet mask in order to find the network address. And then it'll look it up on its routing table and send it out. And I'm going to just type in IP route or show IP route. And we kind of have all these directly connected, right? So these are all directly connected because they are automatically inputted into the system because of us creating IP addresses on these interfaces. So you can see that these are directly connected. And we have the network address and the subnet mask, and we can tell that the 209.165 address is on loopback 0. And we can see each one of these in where it belongs, basically. So we've got the 5 on the 50 subinterface, we've got the 3 on the 30 subinterface, the 2 on the 20 subinterface, and so on. So we've got them all set up. Now, we want to be able to get to the outside world. We want to go to another router. And to be able to do that, we need to set a route to the outside world. Our outside world is that loopback, the 209.165.10.1. And the standard static route, so if we did a next hop, that would be, I'm going to put 2, not to. These are all, I got excited and put 2 on them. So the next hop is like the next hop router, the next one over. So if I were to add a router on here, it's not going to be set up, but I'll throw one in there. And so like, for example, let's just throw a router in there. Pick this up here, and we will get a cable from here to gigabit 0 to, I'm just going to do 0 to 0. And so what we could do is we could have this end be 209.165.10.1, and then this other side would be 209.165.10.2, and then that would be our next hop. So we either have directly connected interface, which is our, right now it's loopback 0, or we have next hop router. So our next hop is our next op IP address. So that's saying that we would have to know what our next hop is. We don't necessarily know it, but for purposes of this, for me showing you this, we are just gonna pretend that it's 209.168 or 209.165.10.2 is gonna be our next hop. So that'll be that one. And let me get the R1 back up. And so we're going to put all of these on R1. We don't own the second router. That's not our router at all. The ISP gave it to us. And so we're just using either the loopback or 209.165.10.2 for our static routes. Loopback is directly connected. 209.165.10.2 is our next hop IP address. We're never going to use our IP address from our router when we use the next hop IP. So if we were to go into global config mode, we could type in IP route 192.168.2.0, and then we're going to 255.255.255.0, and then our next hop IP address, 209.165.10.2. So this is our IP route, our network address, our subnet mask for our network address, and then we are saying the 209.165.10.2. That's what we're saying. And it went in. If we want to do directly connected, we can do IP route 192.168. I'm going to do 3 for the other network, 3.0, and we'll do 255, the subnet mask, because that's our other VLAN is 3. And we're going to do is LO0. That's our loopback. Enter. So it may impact performance. We don't know what's going on here. So really, it just basically is like you're sending this to a loopback. Are you sure? And so the next one, so that is directly connected. And so we're just saying, hey, this interface that's directly connected is our gateway, or is our gateway to the internet. It's like to the outside world. Now we would do one for fully specified, and we add in both the directly connected interface and, 209.165.10.2. So we next hop IP and directly connected. We have them both. We put them both in there, but it doesn't like it. Let me do question mark. It's probably mad at me because we already got that one in there. Let's do... Let's try 4. And then we've got... to 9.165.10.2. Still not liking it. You should be able to put both of them in there. But we are not going to worry about that. But that's fully specified route. The next one is a default route, which is IP route, and then we have all zeros. So remember, all zeros means anything can go through. And you should always have a default route, because if items are left, if you have anything that you just want to go out to internet, it's also saying loopback. It's not a point-to-point interface, but it doesn't like the loopback, but that's fine, not a big deal. So this is a default route with the loopback. You can actually set a default route with the next hop IP. We can do that instead, but for purposes of the hands-on final, we say use an IP route with a default route with the loopback. So that is part of the hands-on final. Now, floating static, you just end up putting in a number behind it. I don't know why this had that in there. So with floating static, you do IP route 192.168.2.0 and then 255.255.0, and then the 209.165.10.2. Oh. The floating static I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put the AKA recursive there. Floating static just tells you what you want the administrative distance to be. So you're setting that in there and then you're stating the administrative distance. So we're not going to worry about that, typing that one in there. We don't care about changing it. If you had a routing protocol running, that, you know, so you can set this up if you had a routing protocol running, or if you had a network go down. So if you had a static route that was set to a certain network and it went down, this one would come up then as a secondary route. So this can be used as setting up a secondary route. What else do we have? Oh, and we have summary static. Now, I know in the Cisco 2 curriculum it didn't mention, it just said summary static route. It didn't tell you what it was about or how to do it. So what a summary static route is if you have 3 separate static routes listed and they're all going to the same next hop IP or the same interface, you can combine them into one route. And there's a calculation and a way to do that. You can do that if you want. The book doesn't go over it, so I'm not going to go into detail on that. So IPv6, all of this, like I said, all of this can be IPv6 information. You just have to do IPv6 and then the IPv6 addresses with it. So I am going to go in and I'm going to take out anything that I don't need, which is all of the ones above. I'm going to leave only the default route. I believe this is my first one I did, the IP route. So we're going to do no. So all I have to do is type no in front of it and it's gone. So let's go up and make sure I have them all out. There we go. I know. And then we want the fully specified one that I didn't like it anyway, but whatever. We're gonna try and just say no just for fun. Okay, so we didn't have it in there, and we're leaving the default route, and I didn't hit enter for the static. For the floating static, I didn't do anything else, so let's Control Z and do show run. See what we got left. We can see all of our DHCP and all of our sub interface, and then all we have left. So here is where your IP route is. So IP route, and we've got our 0000, so our network address is all zeros. It's just going to let everything go through, and then our subnet mask is the same thing, and then the loopback 0. It's all going to go out loopback 0. So that is the quick version of static routes. If you have any questions, you can email me at s.washer@rockvalleycollege.edu or message me through NetAcad. And have a great day.